Welcome to Hollywood Secrets Information. In today's video, we're diving deep into a rather unconventional topic: 23 rubbish actors from old Hollywood. These were the actors who somehow made their way into the limelight but often left audiences and critics unimpressed. Before we begin, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more intriguing Hollywood tales. Without further ado, let's start with our list of 23 rubbish actors from old Hollywood. 1. John Agar. John Agar was known more for his personal life than for his acting chop. Married to Shirley Temple, Agar attempted to transition into acting but often came across as wooden and uninspiring. He was best known for his roles in The Revenge of the Creature and Tarantula, but his lack of emotional depth left many wondering how he even made it to the big screen. 2. Sonny Tufts. Tufts gained some recognition in the 1940s, starring in films like So Proudly We Hail and The Virginian. Despite his big start, Tufts lacked versatility and often seemed out of place in Hollywood. His acting style was frequently criticized as one-dimensional, and he quickly faded from the public eye as better talents took over. 3. Victor Mature. Victor Mature was famously described as an actor with a limited range. He appeared in a variety of films, most notably Samson and Delilah and My Darling Clementine, but his performances were often stiff and wooden. Critics regularly commented that Mature's chiseled good looks were the only reason he managed to stay in the industry. 4. George Raft. Raft was a classic case of someone with the look and swagger but very little in the way of acting talent. Often cast in gangster roles, he was stiff and had little emotional range. Raft is best remembered for turning down iconic roles in Casablanca and High Sierra, which became major successes for others. 5. Johnny Weissmuller. While Johnny Weissmuller was a great athlete and Olympic swimmer, his acting left much to be desired. Cast as Tarzan in several films, Weissmuller seemed perfect for the role due to his physique, but beyond the iconic jungle calls and action scenes, his performances were monotonous and lacked depth. 6. Tom Neal. Tom Neal is most remembered for his roles in B-movies like Detour. However, his off-screen life often overshadowed his acting career. Neal's performances were often criticized for being emotionless, and his personal scandals, including a high-profile love triangle that ended in tragedy, further diminished his standing in Hollywood. 7. Kent Taylor. Taylor starred in countless B-movies throughout his career but never managed to stand out. His performances were usually underwhelming, and his lack of screen presence made it difficult for audiences to connect with him. Despite a career that spanned several decades, he is largely forgotten today. 8. Richard Dix. While Richard Dix had a long career, particularly in silent films, his transition to talkies wasn't smooth. His performances became increasingly stilted as he struggled with dialogue delivery. Though he enjoyed some success in films like Cimarron, his acting style soon became outdated, leaving him behind as the industry evolved. 9. Lex Barker. Lex Barker found fame as the second actor to play Tarzan after Johnny Weissmuller. Like Weissmuller, Barker had the physique but lacked the acting skills. His performances were consistently flat, and he struggled to break away from the Tarzan typecasting, leading to a mostly forgettable career. 10. Alan Ladd. Despite being a huge star in his day, Alan Ladd was frequently criticized for his emotionless delivery and lack of range. Known for his role in Shane, Ladd's performances often felt mechanical, and he never quite managed to convey the emotional depth needed for more complex roles. 11. Rod Cameron. Rod Cameron starred in countless westerns, but his acting style was wooden and robotic. He rarely conveyed much emotion, which made his performances seem repetitive and lifeless. While he worked steadily, Cameron was never considered a top-tier talent in Hollywood. 12. George O'Brien. George O'Brien was a silent film actor who struggled to transition into talkies. Known for his role in Sunrise, O'Brien's acting style was more suited for the silent era, and he couldn't quite adapt to the new demands of sound films. His performances in later years were often awkward and stilted. 13. Jeff Chandler. Chandler's striking appearance often landed him leading roles, but his acting was consistently criticized for being too wooden and emotionless. Although he was nominated for an Oscar, many felt he lacked the charisma and depth required to elevate his performances. 15. Brian Dunleavy. Brian Dunleavy starred in a number of films but was often criticized for his stiff and uncharismatic acting style. Despite working with renowned directors and starring in iconic films like Beau Geste, Dunleavy never quite achieved the recognition or acclaim that others in his era did. 16. Cornel Wilde. Despite starring in a number of notable films, Cornel Wilde's performances were often underwhelming. He was frequently described as cold and distant, with little ability to connect emotionally with his roles or his co-stars. While Wilde had a long career, his acting skills were always seen as lacking. 17. Robert Taylor. Robert Taylor was once one of MGM's most bankable stars, but his acting was often viewed as stiff and emotionless. Critics claimed he relied too much on his looks and not enough on his emotional depth, leaving many of his performances feeling flat and uninspired. 18. John Payne. John Payne appeared in a number of successful films, but his performances were often lackluster. His delivery was stilted, and he struggled to bring any real emotional depth to his characters. Despite a steady career, Payne never rose to the top tier of Hollywood actors. 19. John Derek. John Derek had the looks to be a leading man, but his acting skills never lived up to expectations. His performances were often flat, and he lacked the charisma and presence needed to carry major roles. Derek is perhaps best remembered for his tumultuous personal life and relationships rather than his acting career. 20. Wayne Morris. Wayne Morris was a handsome leading man, but his acting was rarely praised. Known for his roles in westerns and action films, Morris often seemed stiff and unnatural on screen. Despite his long career, Morris never became a major Hollywood star due to his limited abilities as an actor. 21. Craig Stevens. Craig Stevens was most famous for his role in Peter Gunn, but beyond that, his career was mostly filled with forgettable performances. He was often criticized for being too stiff and lacking the emotional depth needed to make his characters feel real. Stevens never managed to break into the upper echelons of Hollywood stardom. 22. Stephen Boyd. Boyd gained fame for his role in Ben-Hur, but his acting skills were often seen as lacking. Despite his strong physical presence, Boyd's performances were frequently described as wooden, and he struggled to bring depth to his characters. 23. Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was a heartthrob in the 1950s, but his acting was never taken seriously. While he starred in a number of films, his performances were criticized for being shallow and unconvincing. Hunter's career faded as he failed to transition into more serious, emotionally complex roles. And that's our list of 23 rubbish male actors from old Hollywood. These actors may have found fame during their careers, but their performances often left much to be desired. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating Hollywood secret. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.